Telemetria sem verificar. αρχή δοκίμαζε αν έχει στεγνώσει ή όχι, αλλά μετά τι βρήκε και πέταξε, καλή ερώτηση.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Valencia in Spain. Thank you very much to a fantastic band down on the grid, cheering us up for what's going to be our finals afternoon here at the Lucas Guerra circuit for the 2017 Winter Cup title from 4 categories. Of course, we've got the Mini-Max, we've got the Juniors, we've got the Seniors, and the DD2s later on this afternoon. But what a way to kick us off, and they will be with us hopefully throughout the afternoon here to make sure all the carts get onto the grid nice and safely. So we're very shortly to get underway with the Mini-Max final here at the Lucas Guerra circuit. Before we get underway, let's hand down to Jenny Wade on the grid, who is with our pole man at the minute. Let's go down to Jenny with Ollie Pilker.
So, Ollie, all set for the final? Yes?
Yes.
You had some good racing today and yesterday. Pole position, winning all your races, fantastic.
Yes, fantastic.
Okay, we're going to let you go, get ready. Good luck. Also to all the other drivers. Who else can we catch? Over here. Jezik. Okay, Jezik, now it's been tough racing, hasn't it? Little grid, but close racing.
Yeah, I would try to go because we have some problems with the straight, but I would try to go.
I'm sure you will. And what about your teammate over there on pole position?
Oh, he's so faster than me because he hasn't got problem with the straight, so he has easier to drive.
Yes, and I think he's got a little bit of trouble because both of you are going to chase him, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, who else can we speak to? Giraffe. Hiding down here. Our pole position man from Friday. A little bit of a tough race weekend, huh?
Yeah, because it has been raining. I'm not good in the rain, but now it's dry, so I think I can win it.
I don't think there's very much rain in Dubai, is there?
Not really. It barely rains.
Well, you never know what's going to happen here in front of you, and I think we're lucky it's not going to rain.
Yeah, I'm really happy that's not raining.
Okay, we're going to let you go. Good luck. Enjoy the race. And everyone else is ready to go. We enjoyed the music. Keep watching us also if you're out there in the paddock or at home on Telemundi. Leave it up to you, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jenny. So Jenny Wade down on the grid speaking to some of our drivers from the Minimax class, which very shortly will be heading off on the first of 2 formation laps here at the Lucas Guerrero circuit. Lots to look forward to this afternoon. As Jenny said, if you're watching on telemundi.com, thank you very much for joining us once again. We've got a very exhilarating afternoon in prospect with 4 finals coming your way, 3 grand final tickets up for grabs, and of course the crown of the 2017 Winter Cup to look forward to as well. So do not move a muscle, stay right where you are, either here at the track or watching at home, because we've got some great excitement to come here on what now is a dry-in track, because overnight from last night into this morning we have had some wet weather, but for now it is starting to dry up, and we have had a little bit of a dry line appearing through the latter pre-finals, and during the lunch break a few drivers were out there testing the track, and I had a little bit of a walk as well, and there is some dry lines about, but as soon as you skirt offline onto that wet stuff it could be quite treacherous. In the earlier pre-finals we had the Minimax and the juniors and pretty much the seniors all on wet tyres. For now though, I can see that the Minimax drivers have gone for slick tyres, so they're confident that it's going to dry out enough for them to use them to the best of their ability. So we'll see how that all features in the next, what's going to be 12 laps for the Minimax. They've increased their distance once more from the pre-final, so 12 laps of racing to look forward to, which gets underway in just 5 minutes time. Local time at 12:50 is when the Minimax kicks off. If you want to find your favourite race, or you just want to join us for the whole afternoon, then you're more than welcome, but the specific times for each final are as follows. The juniors get underway at 1:20, the senior final will be underway at 1:50 local time, and DD2 final will be at 2:20 this afternoon, so make sure you can join us for as many of those as possible. We'll have the podiums for you as well. Great atmosphere with the podiums, all the drivers gathered together. That will take place at 3:30, around about 3:30, so make sure you stay with us on telemundi.com for all the podium action. And don't forget, a busy season ahead, because the first round of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge kicks off at the Genk circuit in Belgium on the 29th of March to the 2nd of April. And just to make you aware, if you're a driver, the entrance open tomorrow. So if you want to get your entry in, tomorrow is the date when it all opens, so make sure you flood the RG MMC team with all your entries for the first round in just around about 6 weeks' time. So then, all the drivers near enough now into the carts. Just got Gianni Androzani, who's waiting to jump in, but he's just been doing a few laps around the cart just to keep himself warm and keep that adrenaline pumped up as well for when the race gets underway. In terms of the grid for you then, we'll take you through that in just a few minutes' time, but we've got some very young stars making their name heard here this weekend, as we saw on the grid. Jenny speaking with Daraf Kendi, the 11-year-old from Senegal and the UAE. He's been a winner of the Dubai O Plate and also the winner of the Al Fazan as well. He, in his spare time, likes to do a bit of football and would one day like to be a Formula 1 driver as well. One of his favourite circuits being that of the Dubai Autodrome. So good luck to Daraf Kendi. The 11-year-old, been racing now for 3 years. He had his troubles yesterday in the heats. He had a great qualifying on Friday, but it's kind of not come to the foray just yet. But the final could turn around in his favour. Teammate to Ollie Pilker, that of Jazi Spinkovic, the 12-year-old who's been racing now for 3 years, sits on row number 2. The Polish racer who is vice champion of the Polish Championship in 2016 and also finished 5th in the Euro final last year as well. A man who'd like to be like Sebastian Vettel in the near future. And again, for Jez Spinkovic, in his spare time, he likes to do a little bit of diving as well. And one day he'd like to win the ticket for the grand final, which everyone wants to do. That's a big end-of-year climax, a great event. The grand final tickets up for grabs here this weekend. The man you can see on your picture, left of the screen on pole position, kart 413, is Ollie Pilker, our pole man. He's had 3 wins yesterday. He had 1 win this morning. He has been a dominant force within the Minimax opening winter event this year. The 11-year-old, who's been racing now for 6 years, races with Unique Racing, comes from Poland. Again, he is a 3-time Polish champion and was also P2 on the CEE scene a few years ago as well. He'd love to win the World Champion, one of his favourite circuits being that of the Adria Raceway in Italy. Also in this field, great pre-final for Balazs Valent, who starts 2nd on the grid. He's definitely shown his form today. Let's see if he can carry that through into this final. A man who comes from Budapest in Hungary, the 10-year-old, now been racing for 6 years, so started very young in the karting scene. He has also been a CEE 4th in the Hungarian Championships. Nobby Michaelis is one of his idols that he looks up to in terms of racing. Victor Bozanek as well out there on the grid, the 11-year-old who's been racing just for 1 year, so a very new name to the karting scene as well. Victor Bozanek will start on the second row of the grid. The man the youngster you just saw there waving his arms just to try and stretch himself as best as possible. He'd like to be like Robert Kubica, the man who made his name in Formula 1 and more recently has raced in the World Rally Championship as well. And the man towards the back who had a great heats day but struggled this morning in pre-final, that was Gianni Andrezzani. But now that the conditions are starting to dry, Gianni Andrezzani could possibly be a man to look out for from the third row. The 10-year-old, been racing now for 4 years. He is partnered with RS Competition, comes from Germany. One of his favourite circuits being Wackersdorf in Germany. And in his spare time, he likes to play a bit of football, likes to play on the PC, and also likes to take part in as many games as possible. One of his sayings as well is no risk, no fun. Couldn't agree more with that statement from Gianni Andrezzani, who starts to the back of the grid. Not the most competitors for Minimax, but this is going to grow as the season goes on. A first stepping stone for this year to bring Minimax to the fore of Rotax racing, and it's great to have all these youngsters on the grid, just under 12 years old, most of them. And they're looking forward to a great season ahead. As we said, as soon as the championship gets underway at the Genk circuit in Belgium, we're looking to have many, many more competitors on the grid for that first round. So very much looking forward to the season kicking off. But before that, this small matter of crowning a Winter Cup champion. Who is it going to be? Time to place your money once again on one of these youngsters. The grid very shortly will set up off on their first formation lap. They'll get 2 formation laps and then we'll be set to go with 12 laps of action for the Minimaxes. Very shortly you'll hear the karts fire into life and now head off around this Lucas Guerrera circuit. You can see just slightly on the screens now that there is a drying line on the racing line, but as soon as you step off that, as I said, it's going to be very, very slippy indeed. But we have got a small glimpse of sunshine just poking through and the temperatures gradually rising as well. Currently 13 degrees here at the minute as the karts now fire up and head off onto that formation lap here at the Winter Cup final for Minimax. So then, grid away for this Minimax final, and the way it's going to line up is follows like this. Ollie Pilker will start from pole position in kart 413. Alongside him is going to be Balaz Valent, who gave Ollie a great run for his money in the pre-final earlier this morning. Row 2, then headed by Victor Bozanek with Jazik Spinkovic alongside, and then back on row 3 we'll have the likes of Daraf Kendi, who was quickest on Friday in qualifying, but has struggled across the rest of the weekend. Alongside him, watch out for the German Gianni Andrezzani, who should be right to the front once the race gets underway. 6 competitors ready to take part in this Minimax final as the karts work their way on this first formation lap. Lucas Guerrera circuit comprises 13 turns. A couple of chicanes are chucked in for good measure. A nice few sweeping corners and some flat out parts of the circuit as well. A very long back straight where the competitors are now just working their way down, which goes on for quite a while, and it leads you into a very fast right-hander down at turn 12 where very rarely you get off the accelerator. You keep it flat out until you hit the final chicane. Thomas Liner, I can see just on the top of the gantry, just telling the drivers to slow down because the grid is getting quite spread out here at the minute. And of course, for a start in the Rotax Championship, you have to keep yourself as closely bunched as possible. And that's exactly the same this weekend here with the Winter Cup. So they're all going to have to just slow it down gradually. Ollie Pilker, of course, will be used to this. He's been leading the field now for pretty much the whole weekend from this morning with the pre-final, and of course with the heats yesterday he was towards the front anyway with Daraf Kendi around him. He was on the outside line for that occasion, but now Ollie Pilker has the privilege of being on the inside just like he was this morning. So let's see how he copes with it this occasion, being hounded all the time. They're down in towards turn 9 on this warm-up lap by Balaz Valent. He'll want to get this race underway and try and carry that form he had this morning into this afternoon's final. He's got Gianni Andrezzani. Everyone's a little bit out of position here for some reason. Not too sure what's going on. Balaz Valent needs to get back to the front. Gianni Andrezzani needs to drop to the back, which he's now done. And there, coming through the field, is the second place man. So everyone now into position, right side of the track, which is good to see. And the 6 karts from this Minimax Rotax Winter Cup get themselves now into a great grid order. They'll come through the chicane. They'll go through their grid hatchings. As soon as the red lights go out, we are set for 12 laps of racing. The Minimax final and the Winter Cup champion is about to be crowned for this class as the lights go out. Away we go, down towards the first corner. A great start from our pole man, Ollie Pilker. A bit of bumping and barging there because that was Balaz Valent just being pushed wide there by 416, which was Victor Bozanek trying to get his way through, which he's done. So Victor comes through up into second place as now Gianni Andrezzani's made a great start. comes alongside the cart there of Balaz Valent, but he can't quite get through. Giraffe Kennedy's getting in the mix as well towards the back of the field. And just like that, Gianni Andrezzani now dropped to the back after trying for a move for third place. He's gone from third down to sixth position. So not the start he would have wanted, but a cracking start, as has come expected now from Ollie Pilker, who leads the field down towards turn number 9, already bridging a gap over 416, which is Victor Bozanek. Then they're in third place. You've got the recovering Balaz Valent after nearly being squeezed wide down towards the first corner, but he's managed to recover and stay where he is. Then behind that, you can see the likes of 412, which is Zik Spinkovic. Great run in the pre-final, but now he's being passed by 2 people because Giraffe Kendi and Gianni Andrezzani has now gone through into 4th and 5th. So the dry conditions may not suit him that well on this occasion, as the encouragement starts to come from the pit wall once more as the 6 carts head across the line now to start lap number 2. Let's see what Balaz Valent can do to get back past Victor Bozanek as they turn their way on towards the second corner. Balaz is probably looking the more racier of the 3 out in front at the minute, but Ollie Pilker will just have his chance now to cool those tyres down, keep himself in a good stride here, keep those tyres nice and clean, and then maybe towards the end start to use them to the best of his ability. But for now, he doesn't really have to try. He can keep himself out front, he can watch what goes on behind, and hope that Victor Bozanek keeps those at bay for the time being. Head down for the youngsters then as they work their way off the short straight, just try and get the best of the slipstreams and more of a tow from the cart in front. And man in third place there, Balaz Valent, not quite getting as close as he probably would have liked to Victor Bozanek as they turn their way on towards the back straight once more. Giraffe Kendi's done a fairly good Sector 1, quickest of anyone. Sector 2 has just been beaten though because Victor Bozanek has gone quickest there. So let's see if he can record the quickest time in this race so far on their first flying lap as they come across the line once more. Still Ollie Pilker that leads. Victor Bozanek second, 7/10 of a second adrift then of the leader. But right with him at the minute is Balaz Valent, and getting ever closer at the minute is Giraffe Kendi, who is slowly but surely starting to reel the top 3 in here. So watch out for Giraffe Kendi. They're in 4th place, who has just gone through to do the quickest lap of anyone, 103.469. So a great lap there from Giraffe. Gianni Andrezzani is still 5th, and Jazik Spinkovic is down there in 6th position. Trio then on their way down towards turn 9. Lap 3 has been started. Gap out in front now reads at 1.1 seconds. So already on this lap, Ollie Pilker putting more and more gap between himself and the second place fight, which is now starting to become a fight because Balaz Valent is not really dropping back from our second place man, Victor Bozanek. So let's see if he can get his way through on this next lap. Probably not close enough into the chicane, so he's just going to have to wait for a minute as they work their way through the right, left, right flick. If you can get a good run through that final chicane and a nice tow down towards the first corner, that is a potential passing opportunity. But again, don't think Balaz Valent is quite close enough for now as they turn their way through the first corner, which loops itself round. A great place to get the slingshot on towards turns 2 and 3. Ollie Pilker there, as you can see now, has recorded the quickest time, 103.154. So he now has extended that gap to 1.1 seconds, as we saw just around about a lap ago on our timing screen there. It's now out to 1.3 already through Sector 1, so more and more time being put between himself and Victor Bozanek, who in turn is still being closed down here by Balaz Valent as they work their way off the straight in towards turn 9. Slightly wide there, but of course now the track continues to dry even further. Looking around the circuit, it seems that most of the track now is dry. It's only the start-finish line where we've got 2 different lines of one wet, one dry, but the rest of the circuit, with the carts going round and running wide, it does mean that the dry line is getting wider and wider. So they'll be able to use that now to their ability and try and make a few more moves in different places once again. When it's drier, we seem to get better racing, which is good, as the leaders come through once more. Slightly wide there from Balaz Valent. He just caught the curb on the X, and of course the curbs, which don't rarely get used, will be still very slippery, so you don't want to put too many wheels over those curbs. It means Balaz Valent has lost time now because Giraffe Kendi has closed him down. So 3rd and 4th is the next battle to watch out for, and the reason being for that is Giraffe Kendi's just gone and been the quickest man of anyone in this race, a 103.029. So Giraffe Kendi now looking to get himself on the podium after being quickest on Friday in qualifying, being nowhere in yesterday's heats, finally has come back to the front of the field now. So Giraffe Kendi has left his best moves until the end of the weekend, which is when it counts, of course, the most points on offer in terms of getting yourself to the top. And let's see now if Giraffe Kennedy can find his way through. Round the right hander they turn at turn 11, which again is a very swooping corner, and a great run from Giraffe Kennedy down the back straight to the inside line, and he gets himself up into third place. So he's gradually getting towards the front now. Giraffe Kennedy doing a sterling job as he comes through. What can he now do about the man ahead, which is going to be Victor Abolzanek? As they cross the line, he is just over half a second adrift of that second place man, but he can see him in front of him. He can see that that gap is coming down. He's got the grip between his teeth now. Giraffe Kennedy, can he get through as they work their way now on this, the 6th lap of the race? So not quite a half race distance, but we are getting there slowly but surely. Man out front, Ollie Pilker, starting to put more and more time between himself and the second place man. 1.6 seconds, but with the speed that Giraffe Kennedy is showing here, I wouldn't say that's comfortable at all at the minute for Ollie Pilker, and it could yet be closed down between the top two as they work their way again down the short straight in towards turn number 9. Giraffe Kennedy needs to think quick here. He needs to get past as soon as possible before the lead of the race starts to slip away from him. Let's see if he gets a good run through the right-hander at turn 11. This is where he seems to be really, really quick. He gets the grip. He's got the kart working really well, and he's closing down the gap again into turn number 12. So let's see if he can get ever closer into the water chicane, almost onto the bumper now of the second place man as they come through on towards the start-finish line. Look how close they are. Here comes Giraffe Kennedy. He's got a great turn of speed through the final corner. Alongside he goes down towards turn 1 and through. Already has gone Giraffe Kennedy, but now fighting back to the inside was Victor Abolzanek. So no room left there for either of them, and Victor didn't want to give up that second place easy at all, did he? He wanted to make Giraffe Kennedy work ever harder for it, so now he's got to try again as they work their way through the right-hander at turns 4 and 5. Giraffe Kennedy again, even with that move, has gone quicker than anyone. A 102.744, the first man in this race to grace the 102s, because everybody else is still down in the 103. So Giraffe Kennedy really showing a good turn of speed here as he works his way through turn 9. No way there through on Victor Abolzanek, but again, it's the end of the lap that Giraffe Kennedy seems to work well. Let's see if he can get a good kind of toe through the corner. You've got to be very, very close there, but you can also make a mistake. He picks up an immense amount of speed down the straights here. Not too sure what they've done to the car, but it seems to be working for him. Late on the brakes into the chicane, and he goes through. What a move there. He pushes out wide Victor Abolzanek, and in the process, Giraffe Kennedy has now gone through. So Giraffe up into second. We've got Balaz Valent up into third as well. And in that one foul swoop, Victor Abolzanek has gone from second to 4th place, so it just shows how quickly your fortunes can change. But Giraffe Kennedy now wants to end the weekend where he started it, pretty much on top of the pack, and he's not going to be too dishappy with this, is he? Because he's now only 2.6 seconds back from Ollie Pilker, but in clear air, surely he's going to be a lot quicker. Whether he was aided with the slipstream that he was given from Victor Abolzanek, we'll have to wait and see, but let's see if he can work to his own devices and try and catch up with the man out front, Ollie Pilker, who leads, as I said, by 2.6 seconds. There's a fight here for what's going to be 3rd place now. Victor Abolzanek is back through by the looks of it, yes, on the Balaz Valent kart. So they've switched positions. Gianni Androzani is now with them as well in 5th place, and Jazik Spinkovic is down in 6th position, quite a way back from the leaders at the minute, so he's got some work to do to catch up. But here comes Giraffe Kennedy. First lap on his own pretty much. What does he do? A 102.744 as his quickest time. That lap was a 103.1 as down the inside tries to look there. Balaz Valent, they give themselves enough room. Victor Abolzanek then runs wide. Gianni Androsani comes round the outside. Is that going to be the correct line for turn 3? Yes, it is, because Gianni now goes through as well, and Victor Abolzanek drops down to 5th place. If you thought this race couldn't get any worse, it pretty much just has for Victor. So he now sits down there in 5th position with Balaz Valent and Gianni Androzani now through. And let's see what they can do to catch up with Giraffe Kennedy. Gianni's going to try for a move though off the back of the straight in towards turn 9. He goes through, runs wide, hands the place straight back. That's kind of a common manoeuvre that happens down there. If you're too late on the brakes, you're just going to run out wide and give the place back to the person you're racing with, so that doesn't work for those two karts. But again, 3 as 1 for 3rd place, and of course this is all important to get the final step on the podium. Who is it going to be? It's going to be one of these as Victor Abolzanek dives down once more the inside at the chicane to get a great move done there on the Gianni Androzani kart. So Gianni Androzani now down to 5th, the German. He's going to fight back once more though. The green and white car goes to the inside and he gets the place back away. Great racing from these youngsters. They may be young, but they're definitely showing some of the older guys how to race around this Valencia track. On towards the right hander they go once more. Here comes Victor for a dive down the inside at the sweeping right-hander at turn 5. Gianni Androzani has to let him go on this occasion once more. So there's another swap of 4th and 5th places. And it's this time Victor Oboznek that goes back in front on this, the 10th lap of the race. Gianni's going to fight back though again. He's going to outbrake himself surely as he dives down the inside line. Yes, he does. Still contact though between the two. Very small amount of contact, but they managed to squeeze their way through without too much drama. Meantime, leader, there he goes, down the back straight on his own. Ollie Pilka in towards the completion of another lap. He now leads Daraf Kendi by 3 seconds. I think he's going to extend this time through as well as Ollie goes through a 102.7. Daraf Kendi does a 102.7 as well, slightly quicker, which now gives him the quickest lap of this race. So Daraf is not backing off. He may see Ollie slipping away in the distance, but he's going to try as best he can right till the end of this race. Now as we start lap 11, there is confirmation of the quickest lap from Daraf Kendi. Been down the field, as we said, in the pre-finals. But as the finals come into appearance, he seems to be working very well. And of course, first time away from the UAE for Daraf. First time racing within the European Championship. So a new territory for him, but he seems to have got to grips with it towards the end of this weekend. Sun is starting to come out as well now for the first time today, so a little bit of sunshine just warms the temperature up and helps the track dry out that little bit quicker, which it almost has done now, as we said, just the start-finish line that seems to be a little bit damp, and also there as well the back straight with a few damp patches on it. But that hasn't put off Ollie Pilka, who's on his way now to start the last lap of this Minimax final. Through he goes, and he's just got one more chance to prove himself here. He doesn't really need to do it. He's got a nice gap of 3.1 seconds. He's retaliated with now the quickest lap of the race, a 102.688. And then Daraf Kendi has got no answer, unfortunately. He had the answer to everybody else, but unfortunately to Ollie Pilka, he was just that too stronger opponent this weekend, and a great job Ollie has done. Already looking to the future is this youngster as he now works his way on through turn 7 onto the short back straight, which is completely opposite the main back straight, near enough the same length, just slightly shorter. Down in towards turn 9, Ollie goes then with this over 3 second lead. But he's coming down on this lap as well, but Daraf Kendi cannot close down 2.9 seconds, I'm afraid, in just 3 corners. So it looks like Ollie Pilka's got it set. He now just needs to pretty much cruise it to the line, and that should be job done, weekend done, with 5 race wins in the chance of 5. He's taken them all. He's done a grand job, has Ollie Pilka. The Minimax Winter Cup champion is going to be Ollie Pilka, who works his way through the final corner to take the checker flag here in Valencia, Spain for the Winter Cup title. He is going to be a delighted man when he stands on top of the podium later this afternoon. He's going to slow himself down. He'll get the applause of all the marshals around the track, all the team down when he reaches the pit lane once more. But Ollie Pilka has done what he needed to do best this weekend, prove himself with the 5 wins, 3 heat wins yesterday, a pre-final win, and of course the most important win of the weekend, the final win which grants him the Winter Cup champion. Well done to Ollie Pilka. He in the end wins by 2.8 seconds over Daraf Kendi. Daraf on that final lap though did do the quickest lap, a 102.500. So Daraf Kendi classified in second. Balaz Valant then comes through third for Agaiti Racing. 4th place for Victor Oboznek for Unique Racing, the man, of course, who races with the same team out front. Gianni Androzani comes through in 5th for RS Competition, and 6th place for Jazik Spinkovic. Great pre-final, but he just dropped away towards the end there for Unique Racing. So well done to him. Well done to Ollie Pilka. Unique Racing are the winners of our first final of the day here in Spain, and of course they'll take that accolade away with them for hopefully the first round of the main championship, which kicks off in Genk, Belgium over the last weekend of March, so make sure we don't miss that one. So then that is your Minimax done for now. Very shortly we're going to have the band back on the circuit to greet the drivers from the junior class, because again we've got some great drivers to look forward to, some even better racing I'm sure to get from the juniors as well. So very shortly we'll have those onto the grid. As we said, don't forget to join us for the podiums later on, all the drivers from all classes together at 3:30. But for now we're going to welcome the juniors onto the grid here at the Lucas Guerrera circuit. So another great way to welcome the drivers onto the circuit here. We are getting set for the junior final here at the Lucas Guerrero circuit. Before we get into that, once again, down in the sunshine now is Jenny Ways.
Okay, now Jason, we had a little chat earlier in the week. You said the competition's good, but you're feeling quite confident this year. So maybe you can tell us how your weekend's been, and of course, is there any strategy for the final?
Yeah, we have a strategy. We want to stay on the third, and we want just to be on the top 5.
Have you enjoyed the racing here in Valencia this weekend?
Yeah, it was very nice.
Of course, a little bit of rain yesterday, but that didn't seem to bother you so much. You've got quite a lot of experience.
Yeah, I was 7, but I am not so good in the rain. That's for me very nice.
Of course, I was going to talk to your technician here and see if he's going to give us any tips about the race. It's a long race, but he refused to do that. Have you enjoyed being here with Dan Holland this weekend?
Yeah, this is a very nice team, and my mechanic is also very good.
He's got all the right answers. Okay, we'll leave you with it. Good luck and enjoy the race. Thank you. Yeah, it's a secret. Okay. Quick chat with Mike before we get kicked off the grid. Now, Mike, I hope that I can hear you inside your helmet there. How's your weekend been?
It was very good tot nu toe.
And what about sitting here on the third row of the grid for the final at the Winter Cup? Did you expect that you'd be here?
No, I'm not expect.
Where did you expect? Top 10, 15?
Yeah, top 10. Well, top 10.
Okay, so now looks like we've got a nice afternoon. Have you got a little bit of a strategy there? Because no one's giving me any tips on what they're going to do.
No, I have no strategy.
Good answer. Okay, wish you luck, and it's been great to have you here at the Winter Cup, so we'll see you at the end of the race.
Thank you.
A little bit of focus here. Can hear all the brains ticking over. Now, I know we've got a little bit of experience here in the middle of the grid. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
And have you enjoyed the racing here in Valencia so far this weekend?
Yeah, it's a really good weekend for. I want to have a lot of experience for the championship.
Now, of course, Kobe, we are on a grid with a lot of new drivers who you don't know. Have you been surprised by the level of the drivers this weekend?
I know some drivers from the Minimax, and it's my friend, so it's possible a little bit better for me.
Of course, I think it's a first race for a lot of the guys here out of Minimax. A couple of more experience, but it's been some great racing, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good racing. Every race it's fair, and yeah, it's good.
Okay, so we wish you luck because we're going to have to get off the grid soon, let you race. Okay. Nice to have you here at the Winter Cup, and we wish you luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so Matt, might have to let you take over here. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jen. Yeah, so down on the grid, always great to hear from the drivers. They're now in their final preparations before the race does get underway in just a few minutes' time. We'll have the klaxon to clear the grid of all of the mechanics, and then we can get this junior race underway. 27 have made it through to this final. Great entry once again for this weekend. One of the drivers you heard from down on the grid was Mike van Voogd, who is from the Netherlands. The 12-year-old, been racing now for a good 6 or 7 years, and has had some good accolades over the last few years as well, whereas racing BNL, the BMC, and also the Minimax Championship. Would like to be like Max Verstappen one day. That's one of the legends he aspires to be like, and also would love to be a world champion as well. And one of his favourite circuits, he tells us, is the Adria Raceway circuit in Italy, which is fairly new to many, many people. You've got Lewis Gilbert down there on the grid as well, the 12-year-old from Scotland. We've had, of course, Dean McDonald in the past racing with us from Scotland. And Lewis Gilbert is now the man who joined us on the junior grid from Dowry in Scotland. Racing with Persistence Motorsport for this year. Been racing for around about 3 years, and he's done some good things recently as well. The Cadet Scottish Championship he raced in, and of course was champion there, and also the NKF Minimax Vice Champion over the last couple of years. In his spare time, Lewis likes to do a bit of basketball and would one day love to win the karting World Championship. And of course, if you keep aspiring to do things like that, one day it could well and truly become a reality. Javier Hansemeyer, a good weekend so far for him, and that was proven in the previous race, the pre-final, where he qualified to get himself onto pole position. He had a little bit of a drama this morning with a loose wheel, which put him off in the warm-up session, but Javier Hansemeyer comes from Brussels in Belgium. Will be heading to his home circuit for round 1 in Genk in around about 6 weeks' time. Racing with Bouvon Power, been racing now for some 4 years, the 13-year-old. Some of his accolades include a win at Portimao back June last year, and also the Academy Trophy 4th, where he finished there overall in the final standings. One of his sayings to us here in the box is, YOLO, you only live once. That's very true indeed. So Javier Hansemeyer doing exactly that here today, and looking to take the final win of the weekend, where he sits down there on pole position to the left of your screen. One of the best places to sit on any grid, especially when you head into turn 1 in the right direction through the right-hander. So we'll see how he gets on from there. You've got Rick Bethorn as well on the grid. He is somewhere in the middle of the pack. Rick Bethorn from the Netherlands, the 12-year-old, been racing for 4 years. This year he's jumped on board with Montfort Motorsports. Some of his achievements over the last few years, well, he was 5th on the 2016 Euro final grid, and also he was many times first in the Dutch Championship. He likes to be like a two-wheel racer as well. Marc Marquez, one of his racing heroes, who is doing very well in MotoGP at the minute. One of his goals in the next few years, he'd like to be racing at Le Mans in the Endurance Championship, and would like to thank everyone at Montfort Motorsports and his mum and his dad as well. So good luck to Rick Bethorn, a little bit lower down on the grid, just inside the top 20. So the countdown is on then, just a few more minutes before the drivers are released onto the grid. You can see some of the field there as we work our way towards the back. That is Levente Lasconze, who had a problem yesterday in one of the heats on the warm-up lap. He careered into the tyre barrier, but great to see him doing well. He's back on the grid, and he'll be starting from 27th place. We'll see how Levente Lasconze gets on from the back, but everyone correct and present as they should be. It's now starting to look pretty nice down there. As I said, the sunshine just starting to peek through, which will just give the drivers a little bit more of an incentive, and you can now be assured that everyone is on slick tyres. No one taking the risk to go for wets, although we did think there may have been a chance of some rain during the lunch break, but that has not become apparent. So for now, it's staying dry, and hopefully it will do until the end of all the finals, because it would be a shame to ruin some of the races with the rain, but of course it could favour some people as well. But we'll see how this one goes. There is the number 34 kart you can see if you're watching on Telemundi Media. That is Gazoo Caesar. He is from France with the RM Concept kart. He sits there in his lovely, immaculate blue and black kart machine, and he'll be heading off on this first of 2 warm-up laps in just a few seconds' time. As the green light is given, the warm-up lap now gets underway here for the junior final. So the weaving begins, the warm-up lap is underway as well, and the grid is going to line up for this final race for the juniors as follows. It has Javier Hansemeyer on pole position after his pre-final win earlier this morning. Tisman van der Helm, the quickest man from yesterday, will start alongside second on the grid. Row 2 is then headed by Luca Nurmi, with Jason Ferrate, who we heard from down on the grid, 4th on the grid. 5th on the grid, row 3 is going to be Mike Van Voogd with Hugo Gazil alongside. Then on to row number 4, we're going to see Luca Leistra, who is very quick in qualifying on Friday. He's got Lewis Gilbert alongside him. 5th row then lines up with Mads Rice and Sylvester Alexa Jarvis. Row 6 is Pietri Widznicki with Papshin Krajeveld. Row 7 is going to be the local lad Joseph Vea from Spain and Valdemir Eriksson in 14th place. Then on to row number 8 is going to be Christopher Sasha with Kobe Pauls, another man we heard from down on the grid with Jenny. Then on to row number 9 is going to be Benz Valant with Guilherme de Oliveira alongside. And then just inside the top 20, row 10 is going to be headed by Rick Bethorn and Marcel Chamax. Row 11 then sees Jan Malacek with Ali Largim alongside him. Row 12 headed by Frederick Yurik with Alexander Dezebekian. Row 13, penultimate row of the grid, has Benz Tujon with Kazoo Cesar. And the final man on the grid, as we spoke about, that's going to be Leventi Lasconte, 27th and last, but of course can always make progress from there once this race does get underway. Just like the Minimax final, it's going to be a 12-lap encounter, so plenty of time to sort yourselves out and find your way through the field. Some of the lower people you may need to look out for in this one are going to be the likes of Luca Lystra, who did struggle in the pre-final. He'll start 7th on the grid. Also watch out for as well Papshin Krejeveld, who was with us last year in the Junior Championship. He'll be a man who knows this track and has experience with these races as well. So watch out for Papshin down in 12th place. And of course the ones towards the front who have been very impressive so far this weekend as well. So onto the back straight they're about to go in the ever drying conditions here at the circuit for this, the Winter Cup. Who is going to be crowned the junior champion of this event? We're about to find out in the space of the next 12 minutes or so. Down towards the penultimate corner they come. The last cart on the grid. The final bit of warm-up to be done for that competitor. That is now in place. Everyone will be line astern, side by side through the grid hatchings. And 12 laps of racing is about to get underway for the junior final here in Spain. They're being told to slow through the hatchings across the line with the red lights going out. And away we go. Another cracking start from the juniors as they go down to the first corner. There's contact in the middle of the pack there. Someone got ridden up. I think that was Luca Lystra who made contact with someone. So he has escaped. But the other person, I think, is off the track. And some of the front runners go across the grass as well. They've just been caught out by the slippery conditions through the first couple of corners. So we've had drama. Some have ended up in the gravel trap. Some have continued on their way as well. So loads of people to try and work out who we have lost. Jason Ferrate was one of them who has recovered. 24 is another one, Mads Rice, and also number 26 by the looks of it, which is the cart of Sylvester Alex Jarvis, who has gone into the gravel trap as well. So 3 or 4 have really dropped down the order. 2 are not going to take any further part. So what a dramatic start to this race. Meantime, up front, I think it's still Javier Hansmeier who leads the way. Here's the man who pushes on down towards the final couple of corners in the number 36 machine for Bouvon Power. Second place looking out the window. I think that's still Tijman van der Helm. Managed to escape through all the melee to come through. Yet in second place. Third place is Luca Nurmi from where he started. Third on the grid. Then behind that we've got Hugo Gazil. Papshin Krejeveld is in 5th place. 6th place then for Lewis Gilbert. 7th is Pietro Wisnicki. Then you've got Vladimir Eriksson, Joseph Vea and Kirby Pauls who round out your top 10. The ones we lost on that first lap, as we said, were Jason Ferrate, Mads Rice, Sylvester Alex Jarvis and Christopher Sasha has returned along with Jason Ferrate. So quite a few dropping down the order there, but the main runners pretty much stay towards the front. And Luca Lystra, was he involved in that incident? Yes, he was. He was the man who made contact down towards turn 1 in now 12th place. He's lost 5 positions from where he started. But Javier Hansmeier up front, now under pressure from Tijman van der Helm. Nose to tail down the back straight in towards the right-hander at turn 12. Can Tijman get through? He's looking very racy at the minute as they work their way in towards the chicane. No way through there. He'll then have a go down along the start-finish line to see if he can get a good run in towards the first corner. He's picked up a nice toe. He's going to pull out now. He's going to go to the inside line. Tijman van der Helm takes over the lead of the race here in Spain. He goes through in this Winter Cup race. He now heads Javier Hansmeier by a very small margin. But watch out as well for Luca Nurmi. He's going to be very, very close in the next few laps here to try and close that gap down. Let's see what he can do over the rest of the pack. Hugo Gazil is still close as well in 4th place. And Papshin Krejeveld, as I said, watch out for him. He's made up already 7 positions from where he started. So a really good job from Papshin, a man who knows his field inside out pretty much after racing at juniors last year. So let's see now what he can do to try and get to the podium. The leaders work their way through the last couple of corners. On towards the back straight they go once more then with Javier Hansmeier now down to 2nd place. Tijman van der Helm, the man who leads the way, but how long for? Because here comes Javier Hansmeier again, using the wide part of the track to get himself as close as possible to Tijman van der Helm as they cross the line once more. Then just 0.2 of a second separate the top 2, but Tijman van der Helm is the quickest man on circuit, 58.949, and Tijman has for the time being managed to hold on to the lead ahead of Javier Hansmeier. There you can see the stricken cart of number 24. which is Mad Rice, which sits in the gravel trap on the exit of turn number 1. Everyone kind of just seemed to scatter across the grass, and some came flying back onto the circuit and collected other people in the process, unfortunately. So they've ended the race for themselves as Tijman van der Helm heads onto the back straight then. Javier Hansmeier there in second place. Tijman with the quickest lap of the race so far, 58.949. So turn away through the twiddly stuff, then start to build the speed once more through the exit of turn number 11. There is a couple of guys close together as well. That's Luca Nurmi and Hugo Gazil. In fact, Hugo Gazil, who's just been passed by Papshin Krejceveld. They are your two through shot now into towards the final chicane. They're about to head, but the leaders are ever closer as well. Tijman van der Helm and Javier Hansmeier. Can he now retaliate with a move just like Tijman pulled a lap ago? Not by the looks of it. In fact, 2 laps ago he pulled that move. He's been there for that long now. There is one of the drivers walking away from what has happened on circuit. I think that's a different incident. Yes, it is. We've had another one that we've lost towards the end of the circuit. And I can tell you that kart is number 16 that's disappeared. So that's going to be the participant of Alexander Dezebekian. So he is now out the race as well. Close quarters here between 2 drivers. That's Papshin Krejceveld under attack from Hugo Gazil. Hugo Gazil gets a good run onto that short straight down towards turn 9. Does he look for a move? No, not quite. Papshin Krejceveld, I can tell you, just about holds on to that. So no swapping around there for those 2 guys. As I'll come through your picture now, there they are. Exactly the same as they were when they left us. They now head onto the back straight. So you've got a good battle up front with the top 2 at the minute, trying to be joined by Luca Nurmi, and of course that good fight with the 4th place guys as well, which is just about to come through the chicane on towards the main start finish line. But of course, which one do you look at? It's very hard to decide here, but we're going to look at the 4th place one for now, as down the inside line goes Hugo Gazil, back past Papshin Krejceveld. A great move there to get the job done nice and clean, which is what we want to see within the junior category. So those 2 now have swapped around. And in fact, they're being caught here by Lewis Gilbert, doing a grand job. He's gained 2 places since the start of this race, and he's now near enough with those 2 as well, because they've been battling hammer and tong for the last 2 or 3 laps, and now Lewis Gilbert has just about caught up with them. So let's see if Lewis can join the party as well, see what he can do. We've had another one off down at turn number 5 by the looks of it. That is the kart of 22, which is Kobe Paul. So Kobe Paul's unfortunately having a moment down in front of us. He's now recovered. A lot of dust being kicked up and dirt onto the track. And in fact, we've got another one that's we've lost as well. Is that Luca Lystra from the pack, number 15? It was 2, in fact. I can just see now behind the gantry. One of them, in fact, is number 16 by the looks of it, that we've lost. So trying to pick up all of these pieces. That's Alexander Dezebekin, I thought, but maybe not, because he was already out in the race anyway. But we'll try and piece that together on this next lap. In fact, it was Luca Lystra. There was too much damage to the bodywork, which insisted that he was involved in that. But yeah, Luca Lystra was involved, Geza Caesar and Kobe Pauls by the looks of it. So 3 of them have lost positions wide there. You can see Papshin Krejceveld just about gets it back on the tarmac in time before he had to turn left again there. The tyres would have been dirty, but he's managed to keep himself in the race, although he's dropped down 1 position by the looks of it, because Lewis Gilbert has now gone through as well. He's up into 5th position, just behind Hugo Gazil. So great race here so far for Lewis Gilbert. You may have just seen on your screen as well there that Tijman van der Helm is possibly under investigation by the stewards. So this could be interesting towards the end of the race. We'll wait to see if we get any more notifications on that one. But for now, he still leads the race ahead of Javier Hansmeier by 0.2 of a second. Javier trying to get a nice tight line through the first corner and run down towards the chicane at turn 3. Can he pull out and go for a move? No, he can't. And of course, I think Javier Hansmeier will possibly be aware of this under investigation for Tijman van der Helm. If it's flashing up on the gantry, then he'll know. But of course, he may not know what number he is, but he should do, because he can see a nice plaque right on the back of Tijman's kart there. So he might be wary of this. But of course, you still got to try your hardest. You never know which way that investigation may go. So Javier Hansmeier still sits 2nd. 3rd place then for Luca Nurmi. 4th place is still Hugo Gazil. 5th place is the kart of Lewis Gilbert, followed by Papshin Krejceveld. Mike van Vogt is now down to 7th place. Joseph Vea sits 8th. Pietro Wisnicki is 9th. And 10th place is Valdemir Eriksson at the end of what was the 7th lap of the race. 8 laps now to be completed as the leaders turn their way through the chicane once more, in towards the start-finish line once more. Just saw a glimpse of Lewis Gilbert in the background. He's the man in 4th place now, so he's made his way through ahead of Hugo Gazil. So great job there for Lewis Gilbert. He's made up 4 positions. What a race for Lewis. Do we reckon he can get to the podium? Maybe not, to be fair. He's 3.2 seconds back from the top 3. Unless they all bring themselves together, it might not happen, but Lewis Gilbert will give it his best shot possible. Mike Van Voogd now has done the quickest lap of anyone, 58.097. He is up into 7th position. Joseph Vayer on this lap has just done the quickest of anyone in Sector 1. So he is now trying to have a good fight with Mike Van Voogd. In fact, they're all together there. You've got about 4 or 5 drivers tied by a very small piece of string. So we'll watch out for them to see what happens. In fact, here they are now coming through the picture. They're all together as they work their way on towards the back straight once more. The battle for the lead is ever closer though, because Tijman van der Helm is under pressure from Javier Hansemeyer. Down in towards the chicane they come. Nose to tail once more then as they work their way on towards the start-finish line. The gap was just under 1/4 of a second. So much going on, it's hard to pick out what's happening, but this is the next battle to see us through, which is Ugo Gazil. He's now fallen into the clutches of Mike Van Voogd. Papchen Krejceveld is in there as well, and 3 more join the action. Pietro Wisnicki, Joseph Vayer and Lewis Gilbert. So what's happened to Lewis there? He's had some problems and he's dropped down to 9th place. He was almost on the podium, but now it's all gone horribly wrong for him. So that's changed around between those 6 or 7 drivers. The battle for the lead is still as it was, but now here comes Javier Hansemeyer. I can tell you down the inside line for a change for the lead. He goes through and gets past Tijman van der Helm. So Javier Hansemeyer has gone now into the lead. Tijman van der Helm down to 2nd. Let's see if he can keep it that way on the run towards the final couple of corners. But for now, we're just watching this battle between Mike Van Voogd, Ugo Gazil, as we said, Papchen Krejceveld, Pietro Wisnicki and Joseph Vayer. Lead us down towards the final chicane. Here they are. Tijman van der Helm is back in front though. So Javier Hansemeyer didn't have it for long as they cross the line now. Work their way down towards the first corner. Tijman is starting to go defensive. But look who's coming for company. You've got Luca Nurmi, who is now pretty much right with them. So a battle for the lead is going to turn into a trio here very, very shortly. We're now on to the 10th lap of this junior final as the leaders work their way through the right-hander at turn number 5. Who's going to try the next move here? I'm sure it's going to be Luca Nurmi before too much longer. He'll be counting all of his chickens at once in this race as he turns his way now on towards the short straight, down towards turn 9. Javier Hansemeyer again not going for a move there because I can see that Tijman van der Helm went defensive. He's going defensive at every single corner. Surely he's going to come a cropper very shortly if he's not careful. Trying to squeeze down the inside line. Javier Hansemeyer has now gone through into the lead once more as they work their way down the back straight. Tijman van der Helm is pushing as much as he can because he knows Luca Nurmi is going to be there with them as well very, very shortly. All now together in towards the chicane they come. 3 as 1. We head now on to lap number 11 in this final. They're going to fan out 3 abreast down towards the first corner. Hansemeyer, Van der Helm, and here comes Luca Nurmi to the inside line to try and grab 2nd place away in the race. Can he get the job done? He's up to 2nd. Yes, he can. 3 past Tijman van der Helm. Now there's just 1 more on his list to try and grab, which is going to be Javier Hansemeyer. Can he get the job done? Because Tijman van der Helm is trying to fight back. Through the right-hander at turn 5 they now go. Nothing to choose between these 3. They're very evenly matched and are vying for the lead of this race. They've only got 1.5 laps now to go as they work their way through turn number 8 on towards the straight, down towards turn number 9. Tijman van der Helm is looking on the outside line. Luca Nurmi goes defensive. Javier Hansemeyer is now just starting to pull away because Luca Nurmi is going to try and defend to his heart contents here, and if that doesn't work he's going to be passed once more and Javier Hansemeyer will be away with the win and he'll be crowned the champion. But we've got 1 more lap coming up here as Tijman van der Helm is going to try and fight to get back to the inside line. In towards the chicane they come. They're going to push each other wide and Luca Nurmi's gone straight through the chicane, which is surely gifted Javier Hansemeyer the win as he comes through to take the junior final of the Winter Cup here. Javier Hansemeyer crosses the line. He takes victory and he is a very happy man. He timed that to perfection on the last lap. He kept everyone out of their reach, and in the end, it's Javier Hansemeyer who comes through. And of course, Luca Nurmi knew he had to back off towards the end there because he made a mistake. He went through the chicane and he had to give Tijman van der Helm the place back. But it is going to be Javier Hansemeyer, the winner for Bouvon Power. He started on pole position and he comes through to pick up the win by 1.4 seconds here at the Winter Cup Junior Final. 2nd place goes away of Tijman van der Helm. It's been a very solid weekend for the Dutch racer. 3rd place then to Luca Nurmi. 4th place to Mike Van Voogd for the JJ Racing team. 5th place his teammate behind him, Papchen Krejceveld. 6th place was then Ugo Gazil. 7th place was the Spaniard Joseph Vayer. 8th place was Pietro Wisnicki. 9th place was then Vladimir Eriksson and Marcel Sumax round out your top 10. 11th place dropping down, unlucky there for Lewis Gilbert. Jason Ferrate was in 12th place, Rick Bethorn 13th, Jan Malacek, Ali Largim, Benz Tujon, Benz Valent, Frederick Jaric in 18th place. 19th was then Kobe Pauls, and 20th place went the way of Guilherme de Oliveira. But what a final that was once again for the juniors. There was a few that were unlucky with what happened towards the beginning of the race. The likes of Sylvester Alex Jarvis was a non-finisher, Maz Rice was a non-finisher, and Alexander Desibekian was also a non-finisher as well. But Javier Hansemeyer, the happiest man I'm sure out there on track, he is crowned the junior winner of the Winter Cup 2017. So if you're watching on Telemundi Media, a few stricken carts to be recovered from the track. Quite a few, in fact, to be recovered after all the melee that happened towards the start of the race. So now the team are going to work to get those recovered, which shouldn't take too long. The quad bike will be around in a minute to pick those up. And, of course, being very light, they can be hauled onto the back of the recovery vehicle as quick as possible. Two more finals coming your way before the end of the day here in Spain. We've got the senior final in around about 15 minutes time, 1:50 local time. That kicks off, so just under 15 minutes before we have that. And of course, we've got the DD2 final coming your way as well at 2:20. Don't forget, if you've got any good luck messages to send to the drivers, do get in contact with us as quickly as you can. Rotax Max Euro Challenge is where we are on Facebook. Send your messages there. There's some brilliant pictures being put up across the course of the weekend so far, and of course there'll be some wonderful pictures after today's action as well. And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at RGMMC. Leave us your thought on there and we'll give you a mention here at the circuit today. So the circuit is almost now completely dry. We've had no rain. The circuit is getting there, so everyone now should be in for a tremendous couple of finals ahead of us with the seniors and the DD2s to look forward to. The last couple of carts now being ushered into their correct position in terms of the trailer. They'll be taken back to Parc Fermé, where all the drivers currently are being weighed for that junior final. And as soon as they've done, they'll of course be on their way, and I'll be getting ready for the podiums later on this afternoon. 3:30 is when we'll see the podium celebrations for all classes, for the Minimax, for the juniors, the seniors, and the DD2s. Talking about seniors, there they are, some happy people down there, mechanics, team personnel, and friends and family of all the drivers getting themselves ready to be brought on to the grid here. But for now, I think we're near enough ready to go for the seniors, because our wonderful band that we've got here today at the circuit are greeting the drivers onto the circuit and giving us a great show once again. And of course, don't forget, we've got plenty more action to come in the next few weeks, organised by RGMMC. All the details on their website, rgmmc.com, where all the details can be found for the next few weeks. But there you can see a couple of Brits, Jonathan Hoggard and Jordan Brown-Nutley, both of them waiting patiently down on the dummy grid very shortly to work their way onto that main grid. Of course, there is Laurie Lepper, one of the stars of the show so far this weekend, a man who steps up from the junior category in towards the seniors. So we're looking forward to seeing what Laurie Lepper can do alongside Jonathan Hoggard on that front row of the grid. So then, the senior time is nearly with us, so let's welcome the band onto the track and let's greet the senior drivers for their final here at the Lucas Guerrero Circuit at Valencia in Spain. So a packed grid of senior drivers down there on the grid, and it looks like everyone's having tremendous fun and a wonderful atmosphere down with the senior drivers, who will very shortly be heading off on their formation laps here at the Lucas Guerrero circuit. And of course, we're very nearly ready to crown another final winner of this Winter Cup. But before we get there, once again, we're down on the grid, and Jenny Wade has caught up with a few drivers. So Jenny, over to you.
So here on the grid, Jonathan, nice little introduction there with the drums.
Yeah, definitely a different way to start off a Euromax round.
We thought that we'd, razz it up a little bit at the Winter Cup, wake everyone up after the winter, but also the fact that there's a grand finals ticket up for grabs. Did you know?
Yeah, definitely a more important race to be part of, and trying to get all of the prizes to go to the grand finals at the end of the year.
Well, I guess it makes it easier, doesn't it? But it's nice just to win the race.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to, as a racing driver, you always want to win, but definitely this is one important race that will be really nice to win.
Now, you haven't had it so easy, although you've been there at the top yesterday. Bit of a setback in the last race, in the rain, unfortunately. But great finish, and of course you're on the front row for the final. How are you feeling? Confident?
Yeah, definitely really confident. Didn't have that great qualifying, but definitely made up for it in the heats. And even when I did get set back, I still kept my head down and carried on going.
Of course, you've got a lot of experience, and I'm sure the guys behind you will be pushing that today.
Yeah, definitely.
Wish you luck, and thanks for being here at the Winter Cup. Maybe we'll see you at the end at the podium. We have to wait and see what happens in the racing.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, a quick chat with our pole sitter after yesterday's races. We'll just turn around this way a little bit in the sunshine. Enjoy the Spanish sunshine.
Yeah.
Now, Laurie, yesterday you came out on top after all the heats. It's your first senior event. You're a very experienced junior driver. You told me you didn't expect to be on the front row.
Yeah, I really didn't. I was third in every heat, and I thought it's maybe third place on grid, but pole is always great.
Yeah. Now, of course, a long way from home, Finland to Spain. Are you enjoying it here in Valencia?
Of course, it's really cold in Finland right now.
I can imagine. In any case, the level of racing here at the Winter Cup, what can you tell us?
Tough racing.
It's good, huh? Full grid of guys here behind you, but the pre-final went really well.
Yeah, it went. I led a couple of laps and then just followed Jonathan. That's it.
Okay, good luck. There's the whistle, and we'll be watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to remember him that you have to use this head.
Thanks very much, Jenny. Yep, so once again, hearing from the two guys on the front row of the grid, with poleman Jonathan Hoggard and Laurie Lepper now getting themselves set for their final. The senior final here at the Lucas Guerrero circuit for what is the 2017 Winter Cup, which is now almost pretty much in full sunshine. A lovely way to end the weekend. Hopefully we'll get there with the sunshine into DD2 as well. But this is the biggest entry we've seen this weekend for the senior class. 34 drivers comprised on this one grid, and it does make a magnificent sight down there as all the drivers now assemble themselves. Last few to jump aboard their carts, one of the last ones there being Scott Simmons, now aboard his KR Sport machine, and I think everyone else is in place where they should be. Just looking all the way down, and yeah, we have 34 carts and 34 drivers ready to tackle this circuit once more. Again, for this category, the laps get a little bit longer, 15 laps of racing to look forward to, which again is going to be breathtaking, especially with the senior class, one of the best classes to look forward to this year, because we have returning drivers, and many of the competitors within junior last year have now stepped up into the senior class. So it does mean it's very widely anticipated to see who's going to take not just this Winter Cup, but also the Championship at the end of this year as well, which is a long, long way away. It comes to a conclusion at the Castelletto circuit, Sette Laghi in Italy towards the end of September. But before that, of course, as we said, the Winter Cup and the Grand Final ticket to be awarded to one of these drivers. Who will it be? They're all excited, and so are we. We are set for a 15-lap final for the seniors, and the warm-up lap is very shortly to get underway. So the carts are now fired up and away on that warm-up lap here at Valencia, and we are ready for the final of the seniors. The way the grid line up after the pre-final earlier this morning is going to just set the grid for this one. So it does mean Jonathan Hogarth starts from the best position on that grid. He is there on pole with Laurie Lepper alongside. Next up on row number 2, another Brit we can see, Jordan Brown-Nutley, and he's got Felix Wage alongside the man from Belgium. Row 3 headed by a junior champion from 2014, which is Thomas Preining. What a storming race he had in the pre-final. He came up about 19 positions to get 5th on the grid for this one. Alongside him is going to be Kamil Donek, the man from Poland. Then to row number 4, we have the likes of Tamino Bergmeyer, one of the heat winners from yesterday, and Scott Simmons alongside him. Row 5 then headed by Clayton Ravenscroft with Max Timmermans on the outside of the 5th row. Then to row number 6 is going to be Zumba Kovacs with Ida Cohen. Row 7 then has the likes of Juho Parvonen with Joe Phillips. Again, great progress across the course of the weekend for Joe Phillips, up from juniors to seniors for this year. Row 8 is then headed by the local man Luke Ibanez with Alessandro and Massimo Trombelli, the Italian, alongside. Row 9 then sees Max Pilka with Baptiste Moulon. Row 10 is going to be Alex Araya with Harrison Thomas. Row 11 then sees another of the mix of nationalities, the French, the British and the Spaniard, Axel Charpentier. Again, not the best of mornings, but he's made progress after yesterday's disappointment. Alongside him will be Joey Waters. Then on to row number 12, it's going to be Zabe Baldazar with Patrick Rundqvist from Sweden. Row 13 is headed by Artzemi Kamenuk with Carlos Saville Martin from Spain. Row 14 then sees Hans Morin with Mario Novak. Row 15 is Mikkel Max with Frank Laverne. Row 16, the penultimate row of the grid, is Daniel Matichek with Jason Lockwood. And row 17 is going to be the final row with Dajus Dabazinskas and Oscar Paloma Ortez, the Spaniard, to round out this mammoth grid of 34 juniors for what is going to be a 15-lap race and a Winter Cup champion to be decided as well. But who is it going to be? That is the main question for this weekend. As I said, now in beautiful sunshine here at the Lucas Guerrera circuit, we are ready for what should be a storming race. Not quite in formation yet for the drivers, still one by one. They need to get side by side, which they're now starting to do down towards the last chicane. So everyone now in place. Again, they'll be sent through that grid hatchings, and hopefully, I don't tempt fate here, but every single start this weekend has gone ahead straight away. So hopefully this time we're going to get away at the first time of asking. Looks brilliant coming through the chicane. They now just go through that grid hatchings, and we're going to get set for 15 laps of racing. It is the senior final here for the Rotax Winter Cup, which gets underway now. A very shoddy start there from Laurie Lepper, but a great start from Jonathan Hogarth as they work their way in towards the first corner. He's been hounded already by Jordan Brown-Nutley, so Brits go 1 and 2 through the first corner. They exit there on towards the left-hander at turns 2 and 3, and everyone for now safely through, which is great to see in this race. Side by side through the chicane, gets a little bit argy-bargy there, and one of them has come a cropper where they're going to go no further because there's a bunch of tyres right in front of them. But Jonathan Hogarth leads the way. Second place then for Jordan Brown-Nutley. Looks like Felix Wage has come through into possibly third. In fact, I think that's Tommy Preining who's come through from 5th on the grid up into 3rd place. So I said he's one to watch in the pre-final. He's definitely one to now to watch in the final. He sits there in 3rd position, a former champion. Again, he'll know this track fairly well. Recent years he's been racing in the Formula 4 Championship. Here comes Jordan Brown-Nutley though for a change for the lead down the inside at turn number 12, and Jordan Brown-Nutley now makes it another Brit at the head of the field. Tommy Preining goes through for 2nd place. He barges Jonathan Hogarth wide. He gets very close for comfort behind 3 abreast as they cross the line. Bumping and barging more as they head down towards the first corner. I think that was Felix Wage in there somewhere. Also we've got 239, which is Tamino Bergmeyer and Laurie Lepper has come back through the field as well. There's someone with a problem across the line, which is 2-4-3. Try and pick up who that is in a few seconds' time. That's Joey Vorters, by the way. So he has now come to a complete stop on the start-finish line. Meantime, out front, Jordan Brown-Nutley leads the way. Second for Tommy Brining. Third place is Jonathan Hoggard. Look how crowded it looks. I said seniors were very busy this year. That just proves the case, as they're all closely bunched as they come through the middle of the field there. But the order, as we said, was Jordan Brown-Nutley, Tommy Brining, Jonathan Hoggard. As I say this, it changes every single corner. Fourth place, Laurie Lepper. Fifth place is Felix Vargay. Sixth place then is going to be the cart of Camille Donix. And then behind that, Zumba Kovacs with Clayton Ravenscroft in now 8th place. So that's how the field looks at the halfway stage of this lap. Another lap now to be completed as the top three go through. Nose to tail down towards the first corner. Does Tommy come out for a move? No, he doesn't. He's just waiting patiently for now as they turn through the first corner. Every single carter there took a different line, but they all seem to work it through as they now head through the chicane at turn number 3, which looks very quick on our cameras, and it is pretty quick from our vantage point as well. So they're not holding back whatsoever in this final. They all want to get that grand final ticket. There goes Tommy Brining for a move for the lead of the race. He's got the job done from 5th on the grid. Tommy Brining back with a bang here at the Rotax, wins the cup. He now goes and heads the field. Jonathan Hoggard sits in 2nd place as Jordan Brown-Nutley goes down into 3rd position in the space of just 1 or 2 corners. So he's now under pressure from Felix Wage. And then behind that, you've got Laurie Lepper in the mix as well. You've got Camille Donix as the man who sits in 6th place, but it's up front where we need to be looking. These 4 cars all together, bumping and barging, trying to give each other a little bit of encouragement down towards the chicane. It's going to get close for comfort before too much longer. Tommy Brining leads. 2nd, Jonathan Hoggard. 3rd is Jordan Brown-Nutley, who now looks for a move down the inside line in towards the first corner. Can he get the job done? The Brits have got to be careful here. They're being ganged up on by the lights of the Belgians and the Finnish racers behind them as they turn their way through the first corner. See one of the cars there, which has come to a complete halt, as we said, was 243 Joey Vorters. He's now being recovered. Watch out for the man who's just gone quickest of everyone, Zumba Kovacs. He sits down in 7th place and has almost caught up with this battling quadruple of cars at the front of the field now. So Zumba Kovacs cannot be counted out of the question as they'll go down in towards turn number 9. Still Tommy Brining ahead as here comes Felix Wage round the outside line to try and get a move done, which he's going to do now to the inside of Jordan Brown-Nutley. They power their way through. Turn at number 11 on towards the back straight once more. It's going to be still Tommy Brining that leads. Hoggard is 2nd. Felix Wage is 3rd. Brown-Nutley now down to 4th place, but looks for an outside line in towards the chicane. Can he get the job done as they come through? They all go through. Tommy Brining's been bumped through the chicane. They're going to be still side by side. A complete change at the front on this occasion. The seniors are not giving anyone any room whatsoever. This is a cracking fight for the lead of the race now. That involves 5 carts because Zumba Kovacs has pretty much got there now. So we've got 5 together. It's Jonathan Hoggard that leads the way. Felix Wage is 2nd, but not for long. Here comes Jordan Brown-Nutley to make it a British 1-2 once more. So they've now taken the head of the field once more as they come through the left-hander at turn 6. This is getting very exciting towards the front. Felix Wage up into 3rd. Tommy Brining now, after that excursion through the chicane, has dropped into 4th place. 5th place is going to be Zumba Kovac. So those two running as teammates then, 4th and 5th. And they've now pretty much been joined by the rest of the pack inside the top 10 or 12 places there. So you've got Camille Donix, you've got Laurie Lepper, Scott Simmons, Tamino Bergmeyer, and now Max Timmermans with the leading bunch. They work their way off the back straight. We had a cart stranded at the final corner, which has now been recovered. We'll worry about that in a minute, but because we've still got a great battle out front between the leaders as they come in towards the chicane once more. There goes another one across the chicane. That was Zabo Baldazar, who just about got through unscathed, but the whole pack have gone through, and that's how close they are. Separated the top 20 by under 6.5 seconds. This is very, very close indeed. Still Jonathan Hoggard that leads the way. 2nd place then for Jordan Brown-Nutley. 3rd is still Felix Wage. 4th place was the one-time race leader Tommy Brining. And then behind that you've got Zumba Kovacs still pushing on hard, but he's now being hounded by 2 carts behind who are having their own battle in this one for the senior final. So much to talk about. I need multiple pairs of eyes in this one. I'm looking at the screen for now to see what happens. So Jonathan Hoggard on his way through around another lap here. We're not quite at half race distance. We're pretty much completed a 3rd for now. Leaders then off the back straight down towards the right hander of turn 12. in towards the chicane. Any drama this time in towards that chicane? No, I think they've all kept it fairly clean now. They've realised that they can't push too hard because that's when mistakes start to happen and that's when damage can be caused as well. But Jordan Brown-Nutley doesn't think about anything this time. He goes straight for the inside line at turn 1. He takes over the lead of the race once more. So another Brit out front. Slight change around between those two, which now puts Jordan Brown-Nutley back ahead by a very, very small margin. But now Jonathan Hoggard is going to try and do the two jobs here. He's got to attack the leader and, of course, watch out behind him because Felix Wage is looking very racy once more, trying to get to the inside line through the sweep in turns 7 and 8. So Jonathan Hoggard now realises he doesn't want Jordan Brown-Nutley to lead this race. So he now dives back at turn 9. He leaves the door open for nearly Felix Wage to come through. Then Tommy Pryning gets a great move done there. He's going to try and take his teammate with him as well, Zumba Kovacs, who just gets left behind in the process there. So Felix Wage is in that sandwich now with Thomas Pryning and Zumba Kovacs as they all head off the straight once more down towards the final corner. Line astern for how many carts we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 carts all together as they come across the line then in this fight for the Senior Winter Cup champion. Who is it going to be with now half race distance pretty much reached? So we head on to lap number 8 with Hoggard that leads. Not for long though. Brown-Nutley again down the inside line at the chicane. He goes through and that's going to leave everybody else open for a retaliation. Now Felix Wage goes through. Tommy Pryning on the outside line gets up into 3rd position and just like that again Jonathan Hoggard's gone down the field. There's drama further back. We've got Camille Donix off on the grass. We've got also I think that's Laurie Lepper off on the grass as well, who started on the front row of the grid. So they've all now disappeared from this fight out front. So lots happening. And someone's gone off. That's Tommy Pryning's gone straight across the grass at turn 9. He's pushed far too hard. So Tommy Pryning has gone straight on at turn 9, rejoined the track where he shouldn't have done. And has he got a problem? Where is he on the track? He's working his way down the back straight, but he's lost loads of positions. And just like that again, the whole field has been broke up. So now we've got two together out front, Jordan Brown-Nutley and Felix Wage. Take a breather. Then in 3rd place we've got Zumba Kovacs. Behind that we've got Jonathan Hoggard, the next of the Brits, in 4th place. I thought there's going to be a change for the lead there once more, but they've just kind of settled down for now. 4th place is Jonathan Hoggard. Tommy Pryning has recovered to 5th place. It was a lot higher than that when he made a mistake, but at least he's still in the race. That's the main thing. He can kind of refocus now and try and catch up with the leaders once more. Max Simmons, by the way, is in 6th place. Axel Charpentier, what a race for Axel. He's come from 21st on the grid up into now 7th position. So that's a grand job he's been doing. What else have we got? Scott Simmons in 8th. Joe Phillips, a great job from him as well, up to 9th place. And 10th place is going to be that of Camille Donix. He lost out pretty badly on that previous lap as well. So on to lap number 9 we are going now. Here's the battle for what's going to be the lead of the race by the looks of it. Jordan Brown-Nutley just ahead of Felix Wage as they come through the chicane once more. Thumbs up from the pit wall just to calm everyone down, saying you're doing a grand job. Just focus on the next 5 or 6 laps here at the Lucas Guerra circuit. They are the most important now to try and decide a Winter Cup champion here in the seniors in glorious sunshine in Spain. But Jordan Brown-Nutley under attack massively from Felix Wage, who wasn't too sure who he'd got pole position after yesterday's heats because it was all still very much up in the air, but still a grand job he did from the heats. And had a great pre-final as well earlier this morning to start 4th on the grid for this one. Now he's challenging for the lead of the race. Down the inside of Jordan Brown-Nutley, they make contact in towards the left-hander. Jordan Brown-Nutley runs slightly wide. That then allows Felix Wage to go through, and that's now job done for him. But how long will it last for, and how quickly can the two behind catch up as well? Zumba Kovacs and one-time race leader Jonathan Hoggard sit there in 3rd and 4th places. Let's try and bunch them back up together again. That's when it's most exciting for all of us watching as they come through the chicane for the 10th time of asking. 10 laps now completed. 2/3 race distance has been accomplished. Just a third to go now. There's still 5 laps, which is a long, long time around this circuit. They work their way through the first corner then on towards the chicane at turn number 3. They now head with still Felix Wage leading the way. 2nd for Jordan Brown-Nutley. 3rd place is going to be the man of Zumba Kovacs, who featured very highly yesterday. Hasn't really made an impression today, but definitely up there now. But he's going to lose out to Jonathan Hoggard, who dives down the inside line to get up into 3rd position, as he now leaves Zumba Kovacs down with Tommy Pryning. So the two teammates are together as they turn their way through on towards the back straight once more. Felix there with Jordan Brown-Nutley and now Jonathan Hoggard just gradually getting closer and closer. Two teammates there pushing hard as well as they come onto the back straight. Let's see what they can do over the next few laps here, but it's getting very exciting up front once more because Jordan Brown-Nutley is going to try and achieve something down at turn number 1. He gets a great toe. Does he pull out the last possible opportunity? Nope. This is a lap for him to follow Felix Vargey and just see what he does, and possibly towards the end use his ability to go for the race lead. But this is very, very exciting amongst the top 2 for now, very shortly to be joined by Jonathan Hoggard. There he is, just coming into your picture now. Kart 300, who sits half a second, if that now, behind the top 2. Best lap of the race, hard to tell at the minute. I think it's going to go to someone like Axel Charpentier, 57.7. In fact, we've had quicker. Jonathan Hoggard has done a 57.671. So I think he is the quickest out there on circuit for now. Sits there in 3rd place, of course. Getting ever closer as they turn away on towards the back straight. Had a warning flag for Mikkel Max as well. So a little bit of exuberant driving from that man. So he's just got a warning. Any more, then there may be a 5-second penalty coming his way. A little bit of weaving going on there between, I think that was Zumba Kovacs and possibly Axel Charpentier trying to get through. Or that was someone else? Yeah, it was behind that. It was the kart of Max Timmermans trying to defend from Scott Simmons. So those two are having a good fight over 7th place, but it's still the fight for the lead that we need to be focused on because Felix Vargey has led now for a good couple of laps. This race has just settled down for the time being, but be warned, it's about to get a little bit more explicit towards the end, I'm sure, because everyone wants to take the title here this weekend. They've tried so hard. They've been here all through the week, practice and testing, and they've got to this point of the weekend where it's all up for grabs, and it's very important to start your season on a high, and all of them will want to be winning this one. But there's, at the minute, only 3 people, by the looks of it, who are going to take this crown. Is it going to be Felix Vargey? Is it going to be Jordan Brown-Nutley? Or is it going to be our pole man, Jonathan Hoggard? It's anyone's guess for now. We've got just 2 laps to go at the end of this one. We're on lap number 13 as the leaders work their way in towards the chicane. Still the order as we gave it to you. It's getting a little bit more tense though because Jordan Brown-Nutley gets another great run through the chicane. Can he try for a move this time at turn 1? Yes, he can. He goes for the inside line very late on the brakes. Is it too late though as he runs through turn 2? He's managed to hold it. So Jordan Brown-Nutley now takes over the lead of the race once more just in time because Jonathan Hoggard has now joined the mix. He goes for an inside line on the Belgian racer. Down the inside line. He did it straight away, and that is a very key point within this race. Jonathan Hoggard, make your moves when they count because if you leave it too long, that leader is disappearing ahead of you. So the 2 Brits now back together out front. Jordan Brown-Nutley and Jonathan Hoggard, and Felix Vargey just like that has dropped down to 3rd position. But watch behind. Tommy Preining is recovering. He's getting closer. Last time through he was a 2.5 adrift. Let's see if he can close that gap down. He needs his teammate Zumba Kovacs to work with him here to try and close up on those 3 out front to make it a 5-way battle for the lead. But time is now definitely running out. We're about to start the last lap of the race. They made a mistake into the chicane because Jordan Brown-Nutley was under attack there from Jonathan Hoggard, and now Felix Vargey is going to try and push for a move. He's going to have to go the long way round because Jordan Brown-Nutley is hugging at the inside line, the apex of turn number 1. So Jordan Brown-Nutley leads, but not by much at all. It's a cigarette paper you could just about get between them as they head through the chicane at turn number 3. Jonathan Hoggard is there, and Tommy Preining has joined the mix as well, along with Zumba Kovacs. It's a 5-way fight for the lead of the race then on the last lap. Oh, and Jonathan Hoggard's been pushed wide there slightly by Tommy Preining, as now this drama with Jonathan Hoggard out the mix. It leaves us with just 2 drivers out in front, then vying for the Senior Winter Cup title and a ticket towards the grand final. Down towards turn 9 they go. It's still Jordan Brown-Nutley that leads the way. Second for Felix Vargey. Tried to cut towards the inside line, on towards the run at turn number 11. That's still nose to tail as they head onto the back straight for the final time. Who is going to take it? We've just got 2 more corners to go. Is there going to be a last move into the final corner? Jordan Brown-Nutley goes defensive. Felix Vargey looking for a way through. It's going to be a drag to the line. Checker flag in hand. The Senior Winter Cup champion is going to be Jordan Brown-Nutley by the smallest of margins. He crosses the line, and Jordan Brown-Nutley has held on to it. He managed to get to the lead on lap number 12, and Jordan Brown-Nutley comes through to take the title here in Valencia. He's done a sterling job. There was drama right towards the end, and Jonathan Hoggard, I'm sure, will be hard done by not even finishing on the podium. Tommy Preining gets through in 3rd place. Felix Vargey comes through in 2nd. But what a race that was from start to finish. There was drama, there was excitement, and there was tantalising battles as well. But the man who does the best of the jobs, the Brit, Jordan Brown-Nutley, has got himself the Winter Cup crowned champion, and of course the grand final ticket that goes with it as well. Well done to him for Dan Holland Racing. He wins by 0.07 of a second ahead of the Belgian Felix Vargey. 3rd place to junior champion 2014 Tommy Preining. 4th place to his teammate for KMS Europe was Zumba Kovacs. Fifth place was Jonathan Hogarth, the Brit, who started from pole position. Sixth place was Axel Charpentier. What a drive from 21st on the grid up to 6th. He'll be delighted with that, I'm sure. Seventh place then for Alessandro Massimo Trombelli. Eighth place for Joe Phillips. Again, great improvement from outside the top 10. Baptiste Moulin was in 9th place and Scott Simmons finished in 10th. Behind them, in 11th place, it was Luke Ibanez, the Spaniard. Hans Morin was next up ahead of Max Timmermans, Patrick Rundqvist, Kamil Donix, Daniel Matacek, Zabo Boldazar, Max Pilka, Laurie Lepper. What a shame for Laurie after starting from second on the grid. He was embroiled in trouble from the start of the race. And Tabino Bergmeyer rounds out the top 20 again after a great day yesterday with a heat win. He drops himself down into 20th position. That was very exciting, I have to say. The seniors, as ever, have delivered in droves here today. Very, very well done to Jordan Brown-Nutley. As we said, he leads and he wins by 700ths of a second here to be crowned the Winter Cup champion for the seniors. So then, once again, a little bit of clear out to be done for the senior competitors, which has now pretty much been completed. Just the cart of Joey Vorters to be removed from the track, which has happened. So that's all good and ready. And if you wanted more excitement, stay right where you are here at the circuit or on Telemundi Media, because we've got one more final coming your way, and it's going to be for the DD2 competitors, who are very shortly going to be released onto the circuit for their final here. It's going to be another 15-lap encounter, and again, that's going to be with plenty of excitement to look forward to. Don't miss it. It's coming up in just 10 minutes' time. Thanks once again then to our band who have welcomed the DD2 drivers onto the grid here for the final of the weekend. Before we get on with the DD2s, once again, Jenny Wade is down there on the grid, ready to speak to some of our DD2 drivers. So, Jen Wade, over to you.
Now, Glenn, I don't know if anyone can hear us for the war drums.
It's even difficult for me.
On the third row of the grid for the final. It's been an exciting weekend. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your weekend.
We had great speed throughout the week. It's my first race in DD2, so happy with the speed. Unfortunately, we got a penalty yesterday and a small crash in the second heat. The rain heat was really good, so got a 10th starting position in the pre-final. Managed to get it up to 5th, and now let's try and push for a better result than 5th.
Hopefully for a win.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Now, of course, we've also got a grand finals ticket up for grabs in this race. I'm still getting over the last race. A little bit of a close one. I don't know if you saw any of it. However, the DD2 racing has also been really close. I think it's quite a high level for the first race of the season.
I think it is. We have some great competitors, great field. Yeah, seniors. I did senior racing. I did the grand finals, and I'd love to do it in DD2. So.
Okay, so we're going to wish you luck and yeah, let you get ready. Nice to have you here and also to see you in the DD2.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sounds like we're getting ready for some action. I guess that's their finale. Yeah. Did you enjoy that? A little bit of local culture, Barry?
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Yeah, it's a bit different, like a carnival, I suppose.
A little bit of a carnival atmosphere. Of course, we just need the sunshine to come back out. How's your weekend been?
It's been okay, been steady, so hopefully on new tyres now we can go forward a fair bit and get a podium.
Of course, you're very, very experienced in the DD2 class as opposed to Glenn on the other side there. Any strategy for this race, knowing what you've got ahead of you and it's a long race?
Yeah, I think you just got to take it one at a time. If you've got good speed, then just race smart, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're going to let you get in your go-kart, and now you're feeling all revved up. Well done this weekend. It's been great to have you also back at the Winter Cup and with RGMMC.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, there we go. All set to go for the DD2 final. Matt, over to you.
Thanks very much, Jen. Great job down there on the grid speaking to the drivers who are now very much ready to go for their final. The DD2 action is very shortly to get underway. The last few drivers just getting themselves suited and booted. One of the drivers there, not quite in his car, just sending some congratulations and good luck to Kevin Ludi by the looks of it. So who is that from lower down the grid? Christoph Adams is not in his car either yet. He was joining in with the tribal band down on the grid just a few minutes ago. The one who was sending his good luck messages was Cosimo Francesco Durante towards the back of the grid. So Kevin Ludi getting some support there. Of course, he didn't go that well in the pre-final. He did struggle in what were greasy conditions, but now we know what we've got. We've got clear, dry conditions on track. So it's a level playing field for everyone, and it's kind of go for it or go home pretty much. So that's what they've got to do now. Who is going to be crowned our DD2 champion of the Winter Cup here this weekend? Still Christoph Adams, yet to jump inside his car. He's a very good character, I have to say, Christoph. But he's near enough ready to get going, leaving it to the last possible minute here at the Lucas Guerrero circuit. And of course, if you're watching online, again, thank you very much for joining us here this weekend. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage of what will be a very busy season ahead of us. We've got some great events to look forward to as we visit some great circuits up and down and around the world pretty much, which we're very much looking forward to. So the klaxon has gone, which means that we've got less than 60 seconds before the DD2 competitors head off on their first of two warm-up laps, just like everybody else. And again, it's going to be a slightly increased distance of 15 laps. It's going to be 15 laps for the DD2. And I think we've all just about got our breath back from the seniors, which were exhilarating. Let's hope that the DD2s are just as good and they're going to put on a show for us. I'm sure they will. You've got the two Spaniards doing well towards the front. But let's see what's going to happen in this final as the car sets off on their warm-up lap. It's DD2 time in Spain then for the last final of the weekend. The cart's now set off on that warm-up lap, the final chance to get preparation for the race and of course get as much warmth into those tyres as well. The temperature has now risen across the course of the afternoon. Pretty warm out there, 17 degrees is now our high from the slightly chilly 13 degrees from this morning. The way the grid lines up then for this final for DD2 is going to see the two Spaniards on the front row of the grid. It's going to have Oriol Dalmu Caballero from pole. Alongside him is going to be the man who did well yesterday in the heats and started the pre-final from pole, Jorge Carlos Pescador. Back on row 2 we then have Casper Bilecki, who has impressed so far this weekend. Watch him from the inside of row 2. He's got Willy Valanen alongside on the outside. Row 3 then has the likes of Glenn Van Parijs, who we heard from down on the grid with Jem Wade, and Gerard Sebrin Aritza alongside another of the Spaniards in the grid this weekend. Row 4 is then headed by last year's runner-up in the DD2, which is Konstantin Scholl, and Barry Pullinger down there 8th on the grid. Back on row 5 we have Harold Garcaklis with Kevin Ludi, last year's champion within this class, and then to row number 6 is going to be our female racer Fabian Lantz, doing well from 11th on the grid with Marcel Schirmer, the German, alongside. Back on row 7 we then have Jonathan Petirzi with Rafael Villanueva alongside that. Row number 8 then sees Andrew Williamson with Bradley Liebenberg, so 6:30 and 6:26. Row 9 is Ivan Martinez with Christoph Adams, who left it to the last possible minute to jump into his car before the warm-up lap begun. Then back on to row 10 is going to be Ilja Oloskins with Michelle Biffiger. Row 11 sees Philip Siwa with Slavomir Moransky. Row 12 is then Joe Altonen with Maxim Shaposhnikov. And row 13, the last row, is going to be Imre Barizdo with Cosimo Francesco Durante to round out the 26 starters we have for this DD2 field. Jonathan Petirzi, by the way, is the first of the Masters on the grid. Second, a long way back in fact, is Christoph Adams, and Ilja Oloskins is just behind him on the grid within the Masters class. So we'll do our best once again to keep you updated with how the Masters get on, but it depends what's happening at the front, because we know pretty much most of the time the DD2 competitors out front give us a really good show. And of course, with these being the more experienced, the guys who have worked their way through the different classes, the likes of the juniors and the seniors, and then back up into the DD2s, it does show where the more experienced racers come from, but there can be drama as well along the way. But I'm sure it's going to be a clean-cut fight out front between all these drivers, with 15 laps of racing to look forward to. The last bit of track action here today at the circuit before we depart and head on to our next round. But we're very much looking forward to this race then, as the drivers work their way off that back straight at very, very reduced speed. They began a lot faster, of course, within their race, but we are now ready to go for this one as the two Spaniards bring the field to the start-finish line. The tension starts to build once more, with Oriol Dalmu Caballero on the front row alongside Jorge Carlos Pescador, and then row 2 is Casper Bilecki. Watch out for him, could be a surprise shock towards the end of this race. And Willy Valanen, the man who has done well in previous years, and he's back in DD2, 4th on the grid for that man in that 605 kart, ready to go once more. So great formation, the last final of the weekend here in Spain. DD2 is going to get underway now as they turn down towards the first corner. Jorge Carlos Pescador has had a terrible start. He's gone pretty much nowhere. He's going to drop himself back down the field as he works his way through the first corner, but the pole man Oriol Dalmu Caballero has gone away with it now. He's going to take Casper Bilecki with him in second place. Third place then is going to be the kart of Glenn Van Parijs. Also a good start from the front of the grid. Someone's intertangled with someone further down the field there. I think that was possibly Jonathan Petirzi by the looks of it, or Rafael Villanueva. One of those two has been embroiled in some melee at turn number 3 and has got a bit of damage on the kart as well. But out front, it's going to be the Spaniard that leads, Oriol Dalmu Caballero. As we said, Casper Bilecki second, and Glenn Van Parijs from that inside run has made a good start as well to jump up into third position. Behind them as they trundle through the first end of the lap, is Konstantin Scholl, last year's runner-up in DD2, is up into 4th place. Meantime, Glenn Van Parijs, I can see to the final corner, just looking to make a move there as they work their way on towards the start-finish line once more, but no way through just yet. This is all allowing the Spaniard out front just to pull away slightly as the race now starts to wear on. One lap completed. At the end of that first lap, by the way, Jorge Carlos Pescador dropped down to 5th place, so not too bad. Could have been a lot worse, but still not as good as he'd have been expecting, I'm afraid to say. It's been a change for third, though, because Konstantin Scholl now has gone through up ahead of Casper Bilecki, who already on this lap has dropped from second place down to 4th, because also going through is Glenn Van Parijs. So both of those have now charged their way to the head, and here comes Konstantin Scholl to the inside of Glenn Van Parijs, and he goes through as well. So great move there from Constantine Scholl just shows why he was last year's runner-up in the championship. He doesn't hang about. He gets on with the job in hand, and he's now going to try and chase down the man out front, who is a good 2 seconds near enough down the road from everybody else. So these 3, 4, 5, 6 carts now need to start working together. If they want to keep on terms with Oriol Danmu Caballero, they need to work together to bring that gap down. At the minute, it doesn't seem to be happening, because now Glenn Van Parijs goes for a move once more at turn 1. He gets himself back up into second place. So Glenn goes through. Third place then is now going to be Constantine Scholl. The gap out front is not quite 2 seconds. It's getting towards there, but it's 1.5 as it sits now. So 1.5 seconds between the top 2. Behind the top 3, we've now got the recovering Jorge Carlos Pescador. So the Spanish man doing well again, or trying to do well on his home circuit. He sits ahead just of Kasper Bilecki. Then Harold Garkaklis is 6th. Barry Pullinger up to 7th place. You've got Marcel Schirmer 8th. Willy Valanen down to 9th place. He's had a torrid start as well. And Kevin Ludi, last year's champion, still down in 10th place. Yet to make any progress within this race. So whatever has changed this morning has not worked in the pre-final and doesn't seem to be working in the final either. So Kevin Ludi having a mare of a time. Someone out of the pit lane there with some recovery work to be done. That was Ilja Loskin, so he now rejoins the race. The people we lost on that previous lap were the likes of Imre Brazido, Gerard Sebrin, Aritza, and as I said, Ilja Loskin has just rejoined the fray as well, down in about 20th place. So he's got, again, work to do in this one, but he's pretty much out of the question for now. Oriol Danmu Caballero goes through then. Quickest man on circuit for now, 56.416. Now finds himself 1 3/4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Glenn Van Parijs still sits in second place. Third place then is Constantine Scholl. Fourth place is, in fact, no, it's not, because Jorge Pescador has gone through, hasn't he? So Jorge is up into third. Then we've got Bilecki into fourth. Fifth place is going to be Constantine Scholl now, so he's lost down. Barry Pullinger right behind him in what's going to be sixth place. Just a tenth of a second or so back. Going better in these dry conditions is Barry Pullinger, but he's got to think quick now, because the top trio are starting to get away here. If he wants to be involved in the podium celebrations, he needs to get through quickly. Well, he's got past Constantine Scholl as they cross the line. So Barry goes now up into fifth place as Glenn Van Parijs powers into the first turn once more. There is our leader, now 1.9 seconds to the good of everybody else. He's just gone and done the quickest lap again, 56.309. So Oriol not hanging about here. Here comes down the inside line of Barry Pullinger. That's 617, which is the car of Harold Garkaklis. So Harold's showing well at the minute to go through there to move up a position. Barry gets dropped, so does Constantine Scholl once more. They're now down to 6th and 7th places as Harold goes through. Also made a move on a couple of others over the last couple of laps there, Harold. He's moved up some 4 positions now, so a great run for Harold in this race. As he comes onto the back straight once more, there is our leader just departing it as he works his way down towards the final corner. Those two behind now, not really catching at the minute, are they? The gap remains at 1.9 seconds on this occasion. Still second for Glenn Van Parijs, third place for Jorge Carlos Pescador, and fourth place for Kasper Bilecki. A massive group of carts across the line there, all pretty much as one in towards the first corner, and that is the battle for pretty much 6th on backwards now. So everyone behind Barry Pullinger having a great tussle, which involves Marcel Schirmer, Constantine Scholl, Kevin Ludi, Bradley Leibenberg, Willy Valanen, and Cosimo Francesco Durante, all in that little battle at the minute. So they're having some fun on circuit. There is our man who sits in 4th place. That is Kasper Bilecki. There's our fight for second now. So Jorge Carlos Pescador has gradually reeled in Glenn Van Parijs here. So Glenn is now going to be under some pressure as they work their way on towards the back straight. Quickest of anyone through the second sector is the man in 4th place, Kasper Bilecki, just going through shot there with a black helmet. So he is now on his move to try and get to the head of the field here. Nicely done through the chicane as they power their way through across the line once more. 7 laps is what we're now on to. 6 have been completed as Oriol Danmu Caballero pushes on. Winner of the pre-final. Can he possibly be winner of the final as well? Last year he did fairly good. He started from pole position in this event 1 year ago, but he had a few troublesome laps which put him down the order, especially in those wet conditions. That's why he struggled. But with dry conditions a year later, Oriol Danmu Caballero is doing what he does best, leading races and trying to pick up the Winter Cup Championship for 2017. So he is looking forward. He doesn't really need to look back at the minute because, again, that gap out front is going up bit by bit at the minute. 2.3 seconds is now what it sits at over Glenn Van Parijs. Still no way for Jorge Carlos Pescador to get on terms with Glenn Van Parijs. Then you've got Casper Bilecki. Then goes that massive train through the picture as well. We've had a black and orange flag, which is a mechanical flag for Fabian Land. So Fabian is not going to be any further taking part in this race. She's got some troubles with the cart, so she's been summoned to the pit lane to have a check with the scrutineers. So Fabian Lands will drop down from where she is at the minute, which is near enough towards the back anyway, because she's seeming to have a lot of problems with that cart. So she will be out very, very shortly. There's second and third then. So Jorge Pescador is now pretty much with our second place man, Glenn Van Parijs. So they are working together to try and close down the gap between Aurel Danmu Caballero. But I feel if Jorge Pescador can get through, he may have a chance of catching his fellow countryman. But at the minute, Glenn Van Parijs is putting up a nice little block there, not to let him through onto that second step of the podium, because, of course, there's still the trophies up for grabs here at the end of this race. Fourth place getting closer and closer as well here is Casper Bilecki. Quickest of anyone through the first sector. Now that cart seems to be coming to him is Kevin Ludi. He's done a 14.6. Can he take that to the line and be quickest of anyone on this lap? He comes through. He does a personal best. The quickest of anyone, by the way, now is the Italian, which is Cosimo Francesco Durante. He's just gone and done a 56.139. So the Italian is starting to worm his way through. From 26th on the grid, he's now up into 10th position. So he gave that good luck handshake to Kevin Ludi before the race. Now he's doing it himself. He's working his way to Kevin Ludi, so hopefully they can work together if and when he gets there as well. He just saw Fabian Lands now into the pit lane, so she has had her race. That's over, unfortunately, for Fabian. No further part to be taken in this final here today. Onto the back straight then we go with our second and third place guys. Still as it was with Glenn Van Parijs and Jorge Pescador. Down off the straight they go in towards turn 12. Now up the road by 2.5 seconds is Aurel Danmu Caballero. So time starting to tick away. We now head on to lap number 10, and the gap continues to grow between the top two. I think it's now going to be a decision of who's going to make it to the podium, because we've got 3 drivers there or thereabouts. There's only 2 places up for grabs at the minute, so they're going to have to think fast here to see what happens as the rest of the pack work their way through. There's Christoph Adams, the man who sits third in the Masters at the minute, with Slaven Moransky in second, and Jonathan Matizia, who still leads the way in the Masters class. So that's how it looks a little bit lower down the field in 16th position. But for now, it's getting ever closer for second place, because here comes Jorge Pescador down the inside line at turn number 9. He's got the job done. It was only a matter of kind of corners, really, before Jorge went for the dive on Glenn Van Parijs. So he's gone through. Glenn now drops down to third place. Not quite into the clutches of Casper Bilecki at the minute, but he is not too far away here. So it could be a matter of laps before Casper Bilecki finds himself onto the tail of the man in third place, the Belgian racer who comes through on towards the start-finish line once more. What can Glenn Van Parijs do about attacking? Well, he's very, very close to the rear of Jorge Pescador then as they turn through the exit of the first corner. Down towards the chicane once more. Nothing to choose between the 3 now. So Jorge Pescador, I thought, may have run away with his second place, but at the minute it doesn't seem that way, because he's putting up a big, big defence. Maybe this is a plan, just to drop him into the clutches of Glenn Van Parijs, who in turn will then fall into the clutches and be attacked by Casper Bilecki here, which is seeming to work now. So it's kind of working in the favour of Jorge Pescador as they work their way through turns 9 and 10. Through the right hander they go. Second, third and fourth all tied together. Is there any chance of 5th and 6th catching up here? Well, they're 2.5 seconds adrift. That's Harold Garkaklis and Barry Pullinger. And then Kevin Ludi, Bradley Liebenberg, Cosimo Francesco Durante and Vili Valanen, who round out your top 10 as we now complete lap number 11. On to number 12 goes our race leader, Aurel Danmu Caballero. And here comes the fight for second place once more. Down towards the first corner, Glenn Van Parijs thinks about a run towards the inside line. But again, Jorge Pescador has it covered for now as they accelerate their way on towards the chicane at turn 3. Nothing changing on that occasion, but again, Casper Bilecki seems to go well through this tight and twiddly stuff. This is where he seems to be at his best. So let's see if Casper Bilecki can get through this time. White bumper, black helmet for Casper as he turns his way through the left-hander at turn at number 8. Down the straight, just losing out slightly there is Glenn Van Parijs as Jorge Pescador pulls away, but then on the brakes, much better for Glenn Van Parijs. Reels him in once again as they turn away on the exit of turn 10. Through the double right-hander, then onto the back straight they go once more. Aurel Danmu Caballero, now the gap between him and second place, 3.1 seconds. Very impressive in this DD2 final for the Spaniards. Can they make it a 1-2, or is Glenn Van Parijs going to have something to say about that? Well, he wants to, but he needs to, again, get the inside run down towards the first corner. Not close enough on this occasion. So he just watches behind him to see what Kasper Bilecki will do, as well as they head their way then through on towards the chicane once more. Any move there? Nope, not really. Glenn thought about it, but of course you need to be very certain in making your moves, because if you make a move and it doesn't work, you're then going to be passed by the man behind, and that being Kasper Bilecki, who is not going to take any prisoners in this final. He wants to make it onto the podium, but again, for him, time is starting to slip away on this, the 13th lap of the race. There's another battle going on as well between Konstantin Scholl. You got the likes of Marcel Schirmer in there, and also Michel Biffiger as well. So all those 3, 4, 5 karts battling outside the top 10. So Konstantin Scholl, again, has had a mare of a final. He's doing very well early on, but the car has just slipped away from him, so he's not going to feature anywhere at the minute inside the top 10 positions, I'm afraid to say. But in the sunshine here in Spain, Oriol Danmu Caballero is about to head on to what's going to be now his penultimate lap of the race. So Oriol Danmu Caballero has just got 2 more tours of this Lucas Guerrero circuit to go, as Barry Pullinger there looks for the inside line in towards the first corner. He's going to try and make his way past Bradley Liebenberg there by the looks of it. So Bradley Liebenberg just being passed, then they retaliate and they fight back once more. There on your screens you can see Christoph Adams just sitting behind Jonathan Petirzi, because now Slavomir Moransky has taken over the lead of the Masters class. That's very, very close as well. A second separate those 3 drivers at the minute. So I'll keep an eye on that Masters class. But meantime, it's still all going on for second place here as Jorge Pescador sits in that prime position for second place. Glenn Van Parijs now starting to feel the heat from behind, because Kasper Bilecki is right now glued to the tail of his car as they work their way off the back straight down towards turn 12 for what will be the penultimate time. Oriol Danmu Caballero has got 1 more lap to go, and he leads now by just under 3 seconds as they cross the line now. I don't think Jorge Pescador has got any answer to our leader, but he'll try his best to get onto terms and pull away from Glenn Van Parijs, who is still under massive attack here from Kasper Bilecki as they turn their way through the chicane at turn 3 for the last time. Working their way through the tight and twiddly stuff once more. This is where Kasper Bilecki really sets himself up. He goes for a move down the inside line, and Kasper Bilecki's got through onto the podium, just out of shot. He's got through, I can tell you, on the inside of the track. So Kasper goes through. Glenn Van Parijs has been put back then down into 4th place. There is confirmation of that change for 3rd. They work their way through the last couple of corners. On towards the back straight they go for the last time, but down towards the last chicane here in Spain at his home circuit. Oriol Danmu Caballero had a great pre-final this morning. It has set him up for this final, and here's going to be the Winter Cup champion for the DD2 class. Oriol Danmu Caballero crosses the line to take victory here in Valencia, Spain. 2nd place goes to Jorge Carlos Pescador to make it a Spanish 1-2, and 3rd place goes away on the last lap of Kasper Bilecki. He comes through to take the honours to get himself on to the podium. Well done to those through. An ecstatic Oriol Danmu Caballero, who was pretty much waiting for the victory last year, but the rain hampered him. This year he's made it right, and he gets congratulated by last year's champion Kevin Ludi. Massive delights all round there for Oriol Danmu Caballero. He'll take the time, he'll take the effort to just celebrate this slowing down lap and realise what he's done here at his home circuit. So, confirmation of Oriol Danmu Caballero, your winner by 2.7 seconds ahead of fellow Spanish driver Jorge Carlos Pescador. 3rd place then to Kasper Bilecki. 4th place goes to the Belgian. So unlucky for Bouvon Power to be off the podium. That is Glenn Van Parijs. 5th place then behind them was Harold Garcaklis. Then last year's champion was Kevin Ludi. Baron Pullinger came home in 7th. Cosimo Francesco Durante in 8th. Billy Villanen dropped down to 9th. And Philip Seawer was in 10th place. Then it was Bradley Liebenberg just outside in 11th. Marcel Schirmer was there in 12th. Konstantin Scholl, Michel Biffiger, Ivan Martinez and Joel Altonen. 17th place and first of the Masters runners was Slavomir Moransky. He finished 3rd overall last year, but still he gets the Masters honours a year later. Jonathan Petirzi comes home 2nd in class, and 3rd in Masters was Christoph Adams. Those 3 will be gracing the podium a little bit later this afternoon. And to round out your top 20, it was Rafael Villanueva in this DD2 class, with non-finishes for Fabian Land, Gerard Sebrin Aritza and Imre Brazido as well. That brings us to the end pretty much of our racing here in Spain. It's been a very exciting day, as expected, around the Lucas Guerrero circuit. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching us here at the circuit, and of course on telemundimedia.com. We've very much enjoyed your company, and don't forget, as we said, Keep up to date with all the action on Facebook and Twitter over the coming days and weeks, because we are looking forward to our first round proper in terms of the championship at the end of March, 29th of March to the 2nd of April. Of course, we're off to Genk in Belgium, and entries for that for all the drivers, just so you know, is open tomorrow. So if you want to get your entry in, make sure you register as soon as you can tomorrow morning with the team here at RGMMC. All we can do now is wait for the podiums, everything to be decided, and all the trophies to be handed down, and of course the grand finals tickets as well to be delivered to the winners here this weekend. The podiums, if you'd like to watch them, will be happening behind the main race control building, and of course they'll be broadcast online as well at telemundi.com. So do join us for that if you can, around about 3:30. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back with you. We'll bring you the podiums in just under an hour's time, so do join us for that if you can. But thanks to all the team here at RGMMC. It's great to be back in Spain for this Winter Cup. As I said, the main round begins, of course, in just 6 weeks' time. Well done to all the team here once again. Well done to all the drivers for putting on a wonderful show. It's been highly exhilarating from start to finish this weekend. We've got some great events still to come here over the course of this year. But for now, we'll have a short break. We'll give you some action as and when we get it from the podium. But from Jenny Wade, from myself, Matt Suckling, and from all the team here in Spain, thank you very much for your company, and we'll speak to you in just under an hour's time. Bye for now. This is a paddock announcement. A paddock announcement. Can all race drivers who have not collected their race licenses please do so as soon as possible. Please head to the race office to collect your race licenses. That's all race drivers. Please head to the race office to collect your licenses before the end of the day. Thank you.
Test 1 2 test.
This is a paddock announcement. Can we have all podium drivers to the podium as soon as possible, please? Can we have all podium drivers to the podium as soon as possible? Thank you. This is a paddock announcement. Paddock announcement. Can we have all podium drivers to the podium as soon as possible? We're about to start the podium presentations. All drivers to the podium as soon as possible. Thank you. Can any remaining drivers please make their way up to the podium? Any remaining drivers please make their way up to the podium, please. Can Christoph Adams please make his way to the podium? Christoph Adams to the podium. We're not waiting for you. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for the podiums. We're going to start with the Minimax drivers, so let's welcome the drivers onto the podium in reverse order. Third place, Valent Balaz. Well done, Valent. And second onto the podium here this weekend in Valencia, please welcome Duraf Kendi. He takes his step on the second step of the podium, but the winner here this weekend in Spain, please welcome Oli Pilka. And we'll now have the national anthem of our winning driver.